Hi, thank you so much for joining my channel. This video is a little bit different than what I normally do. I've had some subscribers ask me to do a how-to video. Not that easy to do. I don't have the cameras, I don't have the skill set. So what I did with this video is it has clips in between. So here's the beginning. It's a perfectly imperfect junk journal that's going to be completed. And then there's going to be clips with some how-to videos. So if you'd like to win this journal, please follow me all the way through. So thank you very much, and let's head to the next clip. Why I love junk mail. We get so many pieces that come through our mail and you throw them away. But what I do is see what I can create from them. I should have mentioned also tags. So I like junk mail and tags. So we have these beach towel tags. So one of these I actually included in my perfectly imperfect junk journals. So you will see this with the flip through. You also receive these credit card advertisements. This is nice chipboard. You can use it as a tag, you can decorate it, you can use it as a mini folder by folding in half and creating it. Sometimes you even get them already folded for you. So look at that. How nice. You can either put it side to side or up top to bottom. This United Airlines one I actually used in this perfectly imperfect junk journal, so you'll see that as we do the flip through. So just wonderful ways to use your junk mail and recreate. So it's about recycle. Don't throw it away. Make something creative out of it. So anyway, look through your junk mail and see what you can find when you're making your journals. So with all of this extra scrapbook paper, which I included in this, perfectly imperfect junk journal, look how much more I have to make more journals. So expect to see this extra scrapbook paper in other journals. Of course, I always like to save, and it's all about the recycle. We're in St. Petersburg, Florida, and they have these outdoor open markets. And we went to this place that had jams and jellies. So they use these little tasting sticks so you can try, sample some of the jellies. And I thought, gosh, I can do something with this. Sometimes I amaze myself on what I find and what I think I can be creative with. So I have a few of them. Some of them I painted, but I'm going to show you in this flip through coming up how I used one of these to be creative. So stay tuned, and I hope you provide me with any thoughts on what you would do with these. Like I mentioned earlier, this is perfectly imperfect, and literally as I made this journal there was a lot of changes, and that's all about being a journal maker. Everything is perfectly imperfect. Don't strive for perfection because it just doesn't happen. So I put right here, I secured this ribbon with some glue, and then I put this scrapbook paper on top, and then I just decorated it. I put some brads there. The lettering for this is actually from a die cut, and I got that from Temu. So I used different types of scrapbook paper to make it. And this flower, this is my last one. I have half of it here and then half in the inside. So let's go ahead and open it up. This is a greeting card envelope. Sometimes when I write a greeting card, I mess up, throw away the card, but I keep the envelope. So I did the faux leather, and you'll see that, in the following video on how I made these. And then these are just some tags. This chipboard I used, whenever you buy scrapbook packs, in the back they have the chipboard, and then I cut it up, and then I use some old sheet music, and then these really decorative designs are from napkins. So don't they look just so cool? I'm going to tuck it in, and then I use some Velcro. Notice how I'm not centered, but that's okay because it's perfectly imperfect. And this is just some canvas that I had left over when I did some acrylic pours. Then you open it up here. There's that other half of that flower. Just cute. And this is the United Airlines marketing flyer. So it's very tall. Let me see if I can raise this here a little bit so you can see the top part of this. You can see right there. I use this same design here at the top in the middle, and I'll show you that in a second. You can see a few of my little craft supplies back there. Okay, so you open this up, and then in the middle here, I just did this little, I kind of folded it in half so you can add 4 photos front and back, and then this decorative paper clip just to hold it together, and then here's another area where you can add some photos. And then here in the middle I put another envelope. I get a lot of these envelopes, I don't know how I have so many, but sometimes people give them to me. So I just painted it, added this really cute ribbon, and then I added this little pull-out twine so that way it'll be easier to pull out. And then you have some other additional places, like a little mini journal within this pocket. And then what I did was decorate it with some washi tape and this button. I buy these buttons through Facebook Marketplace, but I also found them on Temu. So I'm going to try to turn this way. So they're just really cute. So I added it there, and then here is that bottom half of this marketing flyer. So just really cute way to use your junk mail. These signature pages have changed creating this book. I had it here, I had it here, I had it here, and the final result is this set of signature pages. I actually sewed it into the spine, and then I like to hide just the marks of the signature pages, so I just use this piece of extra scrapbook paper and then use washi tape. So I added these little ties here, you know, put some eyelets just to add some more creativity. And the paper that I use is called Echo Print. I will share with you a link in the comments section of how I create these. So when I go and create these pages and I find these really neat leaves, I hate to hide the leaf pattern with some pictures, so I draw lines through it so that way it'll give you a place to journal and then you can still see the leaf pattern. So I used my stamped journal to indicate all the places where you can journal. Like for instance right here, you can journal. I used a lot of scrap paper, as I mentioned earlier, just to create tags, little pockets. You know, I have my little extra bag of swag. In fact, here it is. I like to keep it in front of me all the time. I have all of these pieces of swag that I can use in my journals. I always have that to the side. Oh, but believe me, I have a room full of different types of swag, so I'm not limited to that just little bag. But here, another place to journal. This is some junk mail. I glued the centerpiece and just added papers, added a little tag here with a brad. That's one of my embossing folders. I like to add little corners just to indicate there's where a photo might be. Here's a really nice place to journal. Look how beautiful those leaves are. Nice to write your whatever your memory is, and then you still see the imprint of the leaves. And then this I cut from my extra scrapbook material, added this little key. Here's another little tuck. And then these two pullouts are actually Molly Duker junk mail. So I just did some extra scrapbook material, made it really creative, and then here a place to journal. And this one I have an inside place to journal, and again just did a collage of my extra scrapbook paper. So it just leaves this really creative look and fun with your junk journals. Okay, on this side, another place to journal, and then here's extra scrapbook material. Again, place to journal. And then I added some brads there, and then of course these triangles. Okay, this is where it's fun. I mentioned earlier that I get these just, what do they call, like tasting sticks when we went to the St. Petersburg Outdoor Mart, and I thought I could do something with it. So right here, I'll bring this up close. So what I did was I punched a hole in the middle and used an eyelet, and then I painted it, and then these faux pearls at the end, and then just added some twine in the middle. So just gave it a very creative, you know, look. Instead of just throwing it away, you have something fun to use. So this is an envelope. Just painted it, used extra scrapbook paper, and then again, another tag. I think I got these from the Dollar Tree, which is now $1.25, but that's okay, because it's still inexpensive. Oh, and then here's that tag I mentioned earlier with my junk mail. So I added, of course, an eyelet here, and then I added just extra material, and then I put Journey. So see how you could just turn something around instead of throwing it away, and it's all about the recycle. And then on this final page here, this is just one of my embossing folders. Added some more extra scrapbook paper, and then up here is just a place to add a photo. And then when we talk about a waterfall, there's so many different techniques on how to do a waterfall. This one you only use 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. So let me show you how you do that. So I have 4 pages here. So what you do is you fold it where you want the first one to be, and then you score it. So let me see if I can do that. I'm not going to score it. I'm just going to give you an example on this one. I'll score them later. So then you say, okay, let me put the second one. When you do the second one, you want to make sure when you fold it that you're within, let me show you this way, that you have that little gap between the pages. So you can see right there. Very simple to do this type of waterfall. I've used different type of techniques, but this is just an example of how I did this one. So you notice that there's some yellow rose petals. My aunt gave me some roses one year, and this is how I saved the rose petal. You just, do the echo print, and of course I'll include a link below on how I did that. So for these, I just put stamps on each page, and then I wanted to share an perfectly imperfect moment. Right here you might see a score line. I messed up, and so what do? I just added another piece of extra scrapbook material just to secure it. So it's always about being perfectly imperfect. When I teach classes, I tell my students, you never make mistakes because there's always a way to recreate it. So then here on the back page, just a simple layout, and then this is another piece of junk mail. This is another Molly Duker marking material that we received, and I trimmed it down, did the edging, liked this bird from one of my extra scrapbook material, and then there's places to put photos. And then this one here, I put the fold in the back, so you have an envelope here to add more memories. So this is just a fun journal to make, even though it took me a while just because I was trying to do the how-to. But please let me know what you think about this. Colors that I like, and I just kind of put a few dots. And then what I like to do is just get my paintbrush and kind of mix them a little bit in all the colors. And then I just sporadically paint it on the manila envelope. So I just go through that. Sometimes I allow a little bit more water in it, just to kind of give it that sparkling look. Notice I don't have anything under this. I love this pad. It's very dirty. I've tried to clean it. And I figured, it's just the way you use your materials when you're making anything creative or anything that's junk journal. This look a little bit like leather colors, just with all those different hues when you mix it around. I do also like the gold because the gold also gives it a little sparkle. So I'm going to do this front and back. Perfect is because we're going to scrunch it up. It's so much softer now that I added that baby oil on it. And this, when you scrunch it up like this, it gives some really nice patterns to the manila envelopes. You can see how pretty that looks. And then you can manipulate it with your hands. You can mix it around. Doesn't that look so pretty? That really looks like a leather color, and then when it dries, it's going to be perfect to use. So I'm going to let this dry overnight, and then we'll just connect again, and then I'll show you the next step. So thanks so much, and we'll see you shortly. Bye-bye. Envelopes look like after they dry. They are a little wrinkled. I don't like to use them this way. I do like to even them out. So what I do is I get parchment paper, and then I just get the envelope and I put it in between the paper like this, and then I iron it out, and I make sure and use steam because it keeps it soft. So now I'm going to show you how to sew one of these little mini portfolios. Let me tell you how I measured it as well. So what I did was I got my ruler and I measured it right in the middle. So it's not quite 8 inches, but kind of moved it around. And then I had 4 inches here, so I punched a hole with my little poker, and then I went 2 inches this way and then 2 inches that way. I don't like to go all the way to the end because it's always too close to the end and the papers might tear. So I start from the middle, pull it through, I leave a little tail, put it through one of the outside of the middle holes, and I put it back through the same hole. When I do that, I just pull the thread off to the side because I don't want it to go through the thread. I want it to be on the outside of the existing thread. Then I pull it through, then I put it out on this side, pull it through, and then now when I'm here, I just tuck it under this stitch. So you just kind of make it snug, not too tight. You don't want to make those holes any bigger. And then you just tie a knot. So I'm going to tie a knot. You might want to do something with these tails later, or you can just leave them alone. Sometimes people like to add beads, or whatever the case may be. So now this is done, and you have a nice little mini writing tablet. I'm going to make it a writing slash graphic way to put pictures and memories. This one as well. So let's go ahead and measure it. So we have 5 inches. So where's my trusty pencil? So we're going to do 2.5 in the middle. Doesn't have to be exact, it's just what works best. We're going to go 2 inches out, so we're going to go 4.5 here, and then we're going to go it'll be 1/2 an inch there. So then now let's get our little poker, make sure everything's tightly together, and just poke it through. I go ahead all the way to the end just to make that hole a little wider. So let's go ahead and thread this. Like I mentioned, we start in the middle. And then we're going to tie it. Go ahead and put this needle over here. I'm actually not this organized, so just know that. So I'm going to keep saying I am perfectly imperfect. So you just make it nice and snug, not too tight. Imperfect junk journal for free. I am going to list some of the rules of how to win this. I will try to do another how-to video with a little bit more of a structured format. But in the interim, I would appreciate any comments. If you would like and subscribe, that would mean a lot to me. So thank you so much, and you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.